Peace, 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 peace. What is going on, world? Welcome to another Substantial Weekly. Of course, my name is Substantial, and I'm happy to see everybody. Yeah, man. Welcome to another live. Whole lot of updates. Whole lot of updates. Yeah. It's been a week. It's been a week. You know what I mean? But I am happy to be here with y'all. Shout out to everyone in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody up in here now. Shout out to my man Bird Boogie in the building. Early Bird. Shout out Town Warrior in the house. Metal Fan 1. Who else we got? Detroit up in here. And my sister from, from the same. I'm so used to saying sister from another mister that is, when it's my actual sister, it's crazy. So, hey, what's going on, Stacy? Shout out to my sister in the building, and shout out to everyone else, man. Those of you who will be watching the playback later or listening later when I finally get the recent episodes uploaded. For those of you doing the podcast thing, but yeah, man, ton of updates. We are still rocking with the current this current angle that y'all said y'all like. You know what I mean? So we gonna stay here for a little bit and see if we're still rocking with it in a month or two. You know what I mean? But yo, Stem G, what up, what up, what up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. The Spirited Black Man, peace, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. But yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about. Yeah. We are in interesting times, to say the least. You know, it's yeah, man. I'll say this, like, just jump right into it, and then we'll get to the updates. Malik, peace, what's going on? Yeah, man. One, it's as a black person, right, looking at all of these things going on, and I probably have said this before. So here we go. Here we are again. But one of the things, man, about when these type of things happen, like the community that I'm a part of has experienced this stuff in different ways so many times that, to some people looking, from the outside in, like, it's easy to just kind of view like, oh, these folks don't see, and not even all of us, because there are some of us who are just like on it. Everything that's happening, they're still, and let me just tell you, you have no idea. Most people have no idea that the amount of energy, the amount of mental health exercises, the amount of just all the things that you gotta have, like, really like surrounding you to kind of keep your well-being, keep your spirit high, all of these different things in order to constantly be like fighting this stuff or trying to educate people on this stuff or speaking out against it and different things. And that's why, to be frank, you don't see me maybe going as hard as like I have at certain moments in the past and stuff like that, or it may feel inconsistent. And it's really because, the mental health part of it all, and I'm somebody who's definitely had my challenges like that. God bless those who are able to consistently go at it and really, really do it, because it takes a different type. You got to be built different to do it, or at least have the mental health tools and already in your repertoire, and kind of understand like how to balance it out, because it's easy to be engulfed by all the madness and for it to make you mad, right? Especially as like anyone who's a part of a marginalized group, like black folks, or like brown folks, and a long list of others who've constantly been at war with these, like with their governments and all the things, man. And so, just as I said in a post recently, just making sure that for all of us who are trying to speak up in different ways, most of what I've been doing is just sharing perspectives and point of views and factual information that like I've been discovering along the way, as opposed to going online and posting my own videos and making my own content around it. That's not something that it's not necessarily what my repertoire has ever really been. I don't pretend like it has been. I have been doing work in other ways in the community for a very long time, and so staying in my lane feels kind of weak saying that, but my real reasoning is what I said to the homie yesterday. I feel like in these moments, oftentimes everyone wants to be heard, but there are certain people where this is what they do all the time. And so, and in some cases, they have bigger networks than mine, but I am well aware that there are people within my community and my network who don't know who these people are. And so by reposting it, by sharing it in my stories, by sharing it in my timeline, all these different things, I'm doing what I can to amplify those voices, because these are the most qualified people among us to speak on these things, in my personal opinion. And I don't want reactionary content that I post, or anyone for that matter, to drown out the people we should probably be following or listening to most. You know what I mean? It's like being in a classroom or whatever, and your teacher knows what they're doing and they're great at what they do. But because a person sometimes in this moment feels a particular way about something, they want attention. And maybe they're starved of that attention and other things, even when they have a valid point. But sometimes the overall lesson gets lost because of what this person's immediate needs are. And it may be pertaining to what the lesson is about, but they don't necessarily have the information that the person presenting it, who's been doing this for decades, oftentimes, has. And so, and that's just something I kind of learned early on, where it's like when I was in New York, working with the folks who were fighting the Rockefeller drug laws and stuff, and I'm attending meetings and I'm protesting, or if it wasn't that, it was when they were cutting funding for teachers in New York and stuff like that, and we were protesting these different things. And yeah, sometimes you're attending, right? And you're supporting, you're making your voice heard and stuff like that. But I learned early on, there were people in the room, were people I was protesting with, were people I was lobbying with to get certain laws changed to benefit our community, that had better understanding of certain things than other folks. And it doesn't mean your voice doesn't matter, but it does mean everyone should be trying to find someone to consult with or speak with around them who are more educated or more knowledgeable of the subjects that you're talking about. Just so, man, we're doing our part to put the best information out there possible. One, accurate information and not disinformation, and other things. And by no means am I telling people, shut the fuck up, get out the way. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that these are things to consider, and it's important to use discernment when we are in times like this, in terms of what it is you are putting out there and what type of content you're pointing out. I got a lot I got a lot I'm promoting right now and things I'm supposed to be doing. And this is literally my job. This isn't something I do in my spare time. This is what I do full time. And I don't know. I mean, for some people, it may seem like I post a lot, but I'm definitely not as active as I could be in terms of posting content in general, because I know that every time I post anything, whether it's me promoting, the new album that we got coming, my show, and now the postponement of that show, my upcoming tour, all of these different things, I know that this pulls away from the attention that maybe folks need to, or this is pulling people's attention away from the different things that are being shared that literally could be life and death for some people. So I don't take this stuff lightly. I'm doing my best to keep myself informed and figure out how to move, figure out how to spend my money. I know that right now they're calling for folks to not go to work, not go to school right now, not support businesses that are funding ICE or supplying them with anything. And so I encourage everyone to look into that information as well And so you can make the decisions that make the most sense. It's going to mean that some of us have to be more uncomfortable than we would prefer. But it's also important to remember that growth happens in discomfort. You know what I mean? So just, just understand what it is we're fighting. Understand how you can do your part. And it may seem small and insignificant, but everyone can do something. And I'm not going out of my way to kind of brag on the things that I'm doing, because I don't feel like I'm doing a lot. You know what I mean? Compared to what it is I see other folks are doing. But what I am doing is just keeping an eye out in my neighborhood, because I know, considering, as I've said multiple times, at some point in time, if this stuff doesn't stop sooner than later, it's only a matter of time before they show up in my actual neighborhood, considering how diverse my neighborhood is. The different languages in the hall that I hear, the different cultures and stuff that I'm surrounded with. And these kids who go to school with my kids, you know what I mean, and how it's impacting them. I'll share this and then we'll keep it pushing. I will never forget the day after Trump was elected for the first time, walking into the school I worked at, and remembering that we had to hire additional counselors and bring in social workers and different people like that to basically speak to our students, because literally students were like in the hall crying, like in the hall. This is middle school, right? These babies were in the hall crying. They were literally fearing exactly what we're seeing happening right now. They were very fearful of it. And like students literally coming up to me and other staff people saying goodbye, like they were going to never see us again. These were real concerns back then. And here we are, you know what I mean? Like 10 years later, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it. And it's not to say that, in different forms, it wasn't happening back then too. It was just happening in a very different way than how it's currently happening. So I'm doing my best, and I'm keeping it a buck with y'all. Like, it's real hard to be hopeful and positive and all the things all the generic words that maybe people associate for those who kind of know who I am, that they associate with me and the type of music I make. It's difficult when the world's not like it is right now. But it's especially difficult in these moments, especially with like personal challenges that I'm dealing with, with the loss of, rest in peace to my cousin, Vanessa, who passed away. The memorial just happened the other day. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend due to the weather, and then an appointment I had for my own health, like some real serious concerns I had. Thankfully, things worked out for the best for me. But, unfortunately, my cousin's not here. And then we had a matriarch on my wife's side of the family who passed away a couple weeks before that. So, it's been super challenging, on top of like just the struggles of dealing with this industry I'm in, which is not built for the weak. Shit's been super real, just super real. And the hardest part about it all is trying to prioritize, like, what I can complain about, right? What I can not. I know that sounds weird, but I think this is a real thing for some people, where it's like, you're hurting right now, right? Like, we're watching people literally killed on TV, and it's important to point out that just because, like, we're seeing this type of stuff is happening all the time, like all around the world, right? So I don't want you to think that I'm somehow unaware that it's always hard somewhere, even when it seems like it's okay where you are. I also feel like this is a conversation we've been having recently about we're in the information day and age, where I think people are starting to realize that while it's important to be informed and educated, there can be such a thing as like having way too much information. And I think that's also the challenge too, is that I saw this debate a dude I know was trying to have with people, where it's like he's talking about the importance of walking and chewing gum, or in other words, like fighting all of the different issues or standing up to all of the different things that are happening. And while I agree that all of these subjects, not subjects, but all of these situations, all of these injustices that are happening globally are all important, it's just a reminder that, you know, it's the Bruce Lee analogy where he talks about the man who should you fear the man that does 10,000 kicks or the man that's done one kick 10,000 times. And so I say all of that to you to basically stress that while it is important to be knowledgeable and understand that there are different issues happening everywhere, what I think is important for people to figure out is what are your priorities? Because everyone has priorities. I think we're being disingenuous if we say that, you know, you, not everyone, but you care about all of these issues equally. I honestly feel like people are being disingenuous when they say that. Because if that was the case, if they cared about all of these things equally, Black people definitely wouldn't have the challenges that we've had for centuries. You know what I'm saying? So clearly people have their priorities in terms of what is important to them and what they are willing to fight. That being said, what you need to understand is what your skill set is, what your talents are, what things that you do really well or care a lot about and are willing to dedicate yourself to, and do everything you can to fight that particular fight. Because at the end of the day, as long as everyone is clear on certain things, because, you know, the idea of unity in mass, right? Like realistically, everyone is never on the same page. That's not a thing where everyone agrees on everything. That's really not where we are. There are smaller forms of unity that happen in different communities and stuff like that. And then there are moments where a lot of people come together on an issue, but it's wild that we still say things like everybody, right? Or nobody, because it's almost like we can agree that we all breathe air. You know what I'm saying? But there's always one smart ass that's going to try to you know, you know what I'm saying? Or one idiot, however you want to describe them. So the reality of it is, as a world, we all don't agree on everything. And that's okay, right? That's okay. So find the thing you're passionate about. Find a group of people who care about that thing and do real work to push that thing as far as you can take it. You know what I mean? And if you find ways to collab with other people on other issues, on things that are impacting other communities, do that thing. Do that thing. It doesn't mean you have to always drop everything you're doing and fight every fight. Would that be great? Sure. But also be honest about yourself and what's the best use of your skill. Not necessarily your time. Sure, that's important too. But the best use of the skills that you have and how that can push certain issues to the forefront. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I don't know what else to say, fam. I just wanted to start the show letting y'all know I do care. I see what's happening. I feel as overwhelmed as a lot of people do with what's happening. But I understand also that my superpower and my gift has always been in the arts and inspiring others. So I'm going to do what I can to continue to be like a quality human being, right? Like a good person, and motivate the people I have access to and the people who pay attention to me all around the world and stuff like that. Continue to push the messages I push in my music, you know, in my artistry. Continue to advocate for people like who pursue this as a profession and stuff like that, and provide opportunities to marginalized communities and information that oftentimes are put behind financial barriers that they can't break through. So I'm gonna continue doing that work, regardless if people see the value in it. Because what I also know that sometimes you got to do that work even when people don't seem to care or undervalue it because they don't care at the moment. And then when they realize that their favorite artists who literally have made theme songs that they use to go out and protest, right? Or had inspired them to learn about what's happening in a random country, like somewhere in the world. When they realize that artist died broke, you know what I mean? Didn't own this and was exploited by this. Now, all of a sudden, that person cares about what's happening in that lane. So what I realized is don't allow yourself, like it's cool to care about the things and do the work, but also remember whatever work you were doing before, it still has value. It still needs to get done, right? And this is walk and chew gum, right? Pay attention to what's happening in these things and then think about how it's impacting the world that you're in and how the work you're doing correlates, right? For better or for worse. And then figure out what you can do where you are with the skills you have to fight the powers that be, all right? Shout out to Chuck D and Public Enemy, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. So, other than that, how the fuck y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Yo, good morning, man. Peace to everybody. Go back through shouting folks out. Folks I missed. Gold Broadcast, peace. What up to you? It's definitely a difference between consistent advocating and just doom scrolling. That part right there, fam. Yes, 1,000%. Throw that up on the screen. Great point, fam. Josh, what's going on, Joshua McGee? Thanks for being vulnerable. Definitely relatable coming from another black man. Man, I appreciate you for recognizing that. And yeah, man, I'm praying for all of us and, making sure, like, just reminding people, man, take care of yourself, bro. Take care of take care of the people that you got access to. Check in on them, right? Like, it's not to say that the stuff I'm not trying to downplay the importance of what's happening. What I'm saying is you are useless to the people you care about most and yourself if you are not doing what you can to take care of yourself, right? Because, like, you can fight this fight and your fight will be short-lived if you end up in the hospital, you know what I mean? Or dead. I ain't talking about from getting killed on the front line. I'm just talking about, stress is a silent killer, fam. You know what I mean? Not eating right and not exercising, not doing all the things. I definitely felt like since I've been super stressing these last few weeks, I fell off. Didn't even realize I fell off on my workout regimen until one day, like, my man texted me who I was doing this stuff with, and we were talking about all this other stuff. And then I realized, I'm like, bro, like the reps that we were getting in like daily for like 2 months straight, like I hadn't did that shit in like 2-3 weeks. You know what I mean? And so this is what I'm saying, like how easy it is to kind of forget to do the things to take care of yourself, right? So yeah, man. Happy Mochi, what up? Good morning, good morning. Yeah, every one person touched or influenced does create ripples. Indeed, man. Indeed. I saw them down here in GA last weekend. Word. R.I.P. Miss Vanessa. Yo, thank you so much, man. I appreciate y'all. Nobino, peace. What's going on? All right. Truly feels like we're in a nightmare with everything happening sometimes. Yo, indeed. Indeed, man. I was just talking to folks in my own circle about this. That's right now. Right now, I'm just trying to do what I can to bring joy and support my community in the ways that I can. I have my lane to push. Yo, indeed. Indeed. Yeah, that's why I love the arts. It affects people in the now and sometimes even more so when they move on. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Leonardo, peace. What's going on, brother? Good to see you up in here. All right, so I got updates for y'all. A lot of things to cover and stuff. I'm gonna load up this joint on the screen. Hold on. Yeah, man. But just sending love to everybody, man. keep your head up, stay strong, keep fighting the good fight. And remember at all times, remember what you're fighting for. You know what I mean? All right, let's get into it. So first and foremost, man, thank you to all the members. Thanks for being a supporter. Shout out to everyone on Patreon. Shout out to everyone on YouTube, Bandcamp. I appreciate y'all so much. Super shout out to Happy Mochi for the invites she sent to other people in the past to become members of the channel over here. Hopefully y'all have made time to check out some of the members only content. Definitely more coming in the future. Sorry there haven't been any recent updates. As I've mentioned, there's been a lot of challenges behind the scenes that's been kind of slowing me up on certain things. A lot of administrative stuff. Excuse me. A lot of administrative stuff that I've been, trying to stay on top of or whatever in terms of contracts, new opportunities, etc. Like, been trying to negotiate one of the biggest shows of my career behind the scenes. And right now we're kind of in a stalemate and hasn't gone anywhere, which is crazy considering how much work went into the initial conversation. Also, managing not just my own career with the help of my wife, shout out to Mrs. Robinson, but also helping to manage the career of shout out to Javier Starks, whose project is done. And we are currently working with Even to get things set up for his rollout, which the album is looking like, or the EP is going to drop in May. So stay tuned for that. So we do have a soft, we have a hard release date for it and stuff. So we're hard at work getting the ball rolling on that. And also shout out to Millen. We're hard at work working with him and making sure we're lining things up for performances and releases that he has and different projects he's cooking up. So lots of big things are going on behind the scenes, you know what I mean? So shout out to my super Jamaican accent. But let's keep it pushing. Once again, if you haven't become a member yet, you can join to get access to the membership perks for as low as $4.99 a month. Shout out to all of you who have already done that. Let's see what I've missed in the comments. The arts are needed in times like this. Yeah, 1,000%, man. One of the things I said back when during Trump's first presidency, I was being interviewed on this radio station, and they asked me my thoughts on it. And yo, listen, I am super appreciative when people ask me about what's going on, because so many times I get called in the interviews and they really just talk rap stuff, and I could absolutely be the person that forces the conversation another way, sure. But man, I welcome the opportunity to talk about the more serious things, because I'm definitely having the conversations like offline and with people I can actually see all the time. All the time we talk about these things. So, and so I don't always kind of force the conversation to go where maybe it could go. And that's on me. But in this moment, he asked me my thoughts back in 2017 on the current administration at that time. And I told him, I was like, number one, I was an early predictor that this was going to happen. And a lot of people didn't listen to me. They didn't take them serious. And they, once again, didn't take them serious. And then here we are. But I told them how I was able to predict this based on my knowledge in marketing in particular, right? And what I do. And I know a lot of y'all don't look to me as a marketing genius or specialist, this, that, and the third. But behind the scenes, a lot of people pay me to help them with campaigns, right? To help them fundraise for campaigns that they're working on and different things like that. It's why you've seen me be so successful as an indie artist and be able to self-fund most of what I do, because I understand how this stuff works. And but what I said to them was, it was like, it's unfortunate that what I predicted like over a year before it happened. But fortunately for us, this discomfort that everyone's feeling, this anger that people are feeling, is going to make for amazing art. It's going to make for amazing music. And, and it does every time, that discomfort oftentimes forces people to really kind of speak up about things that they just can't ignore at that particular moment. And that work outlives us, man. It inspires future generations and stuff like that. So, it's powerful, man. We need it. Indeed. Yeah, man. I've been ready for this 33rd birthday tomorrow. Hey, that's what's up. Clap it up for you. You know what I mean? Hey, man. I remember 33. Yeah, man. Happy born day. Early happy born day to you. Shout out to the January babies, man. Or as I like to call it, Stanuary. It's also gotten to the point where people need to address it. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. So, by any chance, do you watch anime? I noticed your shirt, so I was wondering. You noticed this whole thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. I watch anime. I don't watch it maybe as much as a lot of the homies. I used to watch it a lot more, but these days, I still do watch it. Sometimes with the kids, sometimes on my own. But yeah, I finally finished Sakamoto Days, which I love. The joint I'm rocking right now, this Mugen from Samurai Champloo. And if you like this hoodie, you can actually get it from my store, subartmusic.com/store. It's available in not only burgundy, but I think it's available in gray and white. Definitely one of those two colors you can get it in as well. Which reminds me, I need to cop the gray joint. I'm slacking. But yeah, man. But I definitely watch anime. All right, let's see. You've got a lot of mainstream artists and content creators talking about it that usually stay out of politics. Yeah. And sometimes in these moments, I think that a lot of these folks are being genuine, like they actually care. And there are a lot of people that like, yeah, man, they ride the wave, like wherever. This is what we're talking about right now, so this is what I'm talking about right now. And yeah, it's like I get it. I get it. They kind of can't. They I'm not gonna say they can't ignore it because they absolutely could, but they can't do it without their platform suffering. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking to y'all about it like as I have in the past. Anytime y'all brought up certain issues and maybe I didn't start out talking about it, I don't duck it. You know what I mean? If, like whatever smoke there is and it need to be addressed, I'm here for it. But I think that where we are right now, you can't. It's not going to benefit you, right? Like personally or professionally, to act like this stuff is not happening, right? And so it's easier to do when it's not affecting money. But as I've said time and time again, I literally said it in one of my songs, a super underrated Bop Alloy song called "Spent," right? Which maybe we'll play before the day is out. In that song, I was like, I talk about like hitting them in the pockets. Like, right, you want to make them stop it, hit them in the pockets, right? Like all of the protesting we're doing and stuff like that, if you are not impacting the money, this is the root of all evil. This is the root of all of our problems and challenges. If we want to make the people who are out here trying to do us harm, if we want to make them stop what they're doing, it's like, yo, speaking up is part of it, sure. But man, we need to have a plan of action that directly impacts their money. So that's why when we talk about this whole, stopping, people not going to work today, people not spending money with certain companies and this, that, and the third. When we talk about these things, that is one of the ways to do it. Once people start losing when corporate entities and governments are on the verge of losing millions of dollars, right? They gotta pivot. They gotta pivot. The reason why you saw them remove the one guy and now there are whispers about removing the one woman, after the situation with ICE and they came out trying to justify it, is because, certain groups that like have absolutely, or certain companies and stuff like that who have absolutely helped to fund certain people's campaigns and different things of that, like they are coming out against what happened. And so I'm sorry, I'm turning this for my ringer go off again. So they have no choice. They have no choice but to do something, right? Or to step back from what they're doing a little bit, or down, or kind of tone it down, right? Like they have no choice, because if they want to keep getting money from certain people, then yeah, they're gonna have to pivot on the thing they were pushing, right? I'm like, fam, when you saw the NRA come out against some of what was being said, because they had a slip up where they were talking about like how no person should be going to these protests with a firearm and stuff like that, and the NRA is like, hey now, hey now, what you're not gonna do is talk about people who are legal gun owners who like have a license to carry, right, and say that they can't do that, you know. But I've said time and time again, you want to see gun laws change overnight? Easiest way to make gun laws change overnight: legally arm every black person in this country and have them just showing up in public, not just at protests, everywhere, going to do everything with their guns on them, anywhere where it's legal. If we were coming out in mass strapped all the time, please believe, you think people uncomfortable now. It was like, oops, calm down, your racism showing. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust. You don't believe me? Ask the Black Panther Party. You know, so let's keep it a buck, man. Gun laws would change overnight. Overnight, you know. All right. It says you couldn't have been this successful as an indie artist without being a master of the artistry. I see what you did there. Thank you, sir. Family, yes indeed. Happy early birthday, bruh. Substantial, gotta watch Vinland Saga. I gotta look it up, see if my daughter has heard of that. Yeah, I mean, she watches way more than I do. Violet Evergarden is my favorite anime, and I think you would like it as well if you haven't seen it yet. Haven't even heard of it, let alone seen it. So yeah, gotta add that. It's whole lot of anime recommendations with V in the title. You know what I'm saying? I ain't heard of none of these joints. Let's see. Especially in the system that we live in. Yeah. If history taught us that with the Panthers. Oh, taught us that with the Panthers. Yeah, 1,000%. What was it like to work with Nujabes? Keep it a buck with you. I've answered this in a lot of videos. I'll answer it briefly here. You know, like, but I would definitely recommend that you just search Substantial talks about Nujabes or Substantial Nujabes interview or something like that. But yeah, the easiest way to say that, you know, it was, you know, while we made more songs together than anyone else he worked with, right? Like over 30 songs together. And yo, while it was an amazing experience, absolutely. And we had a lot of fun as well, a lot of laughs and stuff, ate really good. It was definitely one of the most challenging relationships I had in the music biz, you know, because we definitely had a lot of creative differences. And yeah, and like I think one thing that oftentimes people don't realize is that for those early releases, like even with my debut album, I was trying to convince him, not because his name was more popular than mine, because it's important to also recognize that how y'all know Nujabes nowadays is not necessarily like he wasn't as popular then. Definitely not outside of Japan, and he wasn't super known in Japan, to the point that literally people in Japan bought his records as imports because he was using an American distributor. So he had an American distributor resell his records back to Japan. So unless you knew him personally or worked with him in Tokyo or something like that, there was a good amount of people that before he started kind of going out on tour or the label started to grow and people figured out who he was, there was a decent amount of people didn't even know he was Japanese initially. So so what I was encouraging him to do, just because we were disagreeing on certain things, and I kept reminding him, I was like, hey bro, this is being marketed as my solo album. So if I'm not cool with certain things that we're doing, it's because after we stop working in the studio and we do like our things in Japan, I'm in the rest of the world by myself. And whatever decisions we make, good or bad, I'm the one that's the face that has to accept all the backlash that comes with that. And so, yeah, so I was just like So I think the compromise should be maybe we make this album Substantial and Nujabes, or Nujabes and Substantial. I'm cool with either, or we come up with some type of like name to put the project under. And he wasn't with that. And when I went back out there for the second time, that those issues came to a head and stuff. We had a big like fallout over that. We were cool after, but like I decided not to do any more solo projects with him. And so I just did the one-offs. And the funny thing is, some of the records that y'all know, and I know for the regulars on the show, y'all already know this, but for you, the boy Brand, you know, a lot of people don't realize that some of the songs that are on some of his records, they weren't made to be on his compilation albums or his solo albums. They were actually made for, some of those songs were made for my next solo, and would have been on Sacrifice. Like a song like Eclipse. Eclipse wasn't made with his project in mind. Neither was Hikari initially. I had wrote Hikari to a different beat that I was holding for my second album. And then eventually when I got out to Japan, when I heard the beat he had for it, I just basically recorded it to that track and decided to cut it from what else I was working on. And so, you know, it's just interesting how like, you know, how it worked out and stuff like that. And I'm grateful, forever grateful. But man, more than anything, the moments I loved most with working with him was just hanging out, talking about the world and eating. Like, he was a foodie like me. So like, man, he loved curry, and he would take me to his favorite curry spot and another restaurant that always had good vibes. And the owner was always super nice to us. So I miss that type of stuff, but it was cool working with him overall. But I never pretend. Anytime people ask, I always tell people like, yo, it was challenging. It was definitely challenging, you know? But all this darkness, I hope people don't fall into despair. Got to find moments of joy to keep going. 1000% couldn't agree with you more. All right. Don't forget to like the video, y'all. What she said, you listen to the woman with the wrench. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Happy Mochi. Ari, I appreciate you, sis. Thank you for all you do. All right. Let's see. Love hearing these kinds of stories with the good, bad, etc. Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all for listening. All right, let's keep it pushing. You can also sign up to Patreon. There's a lot of content over there as well. Shout out to all my Patreon members. I appreciate y'all. All right, now let's talk some Bop Alloy. Yeah. Shout out to my brother from another mother, Marcus D. You know, yeah, man, the album is done. We just received the master this week. Oh my God, we received the master of Masters of the Artistry, and it sounds glorious. It sounds glorious. Yo, yeah, man, this album, yo, it's really, really, it's special. It's really, really special. And I can't wait for y'all to hear it. But yeah, man, man, the features are dope. You know, the beats are dope. The rhymes are dope. Like, it's really great to see how we've progressed individually and how we come together. And yeah, man, it's just been amazing. So let's see the next slide. Yeah, so this is what we're looking at right now. Oh no, that's still the old joint. So let's get that out of there because that's incorrect. Hold on. Let's do this. I thought I put the new joint in, but I forgot to. Oh, I know why. Hold on. Oh, I know what I did wrong. All right, so let's get you out of here. We're going to remove you from studio, and then we're going to put this one in. Un momento, por favor. Hold on. There it is. Shout out to whoever's honking outside, trying to put sound effects in my show. No, thank you. I do not consent. All right, here we go. I think, no, that ain't it. Man, why is it joint? Okay, found it. All right. My apologies, y'all. Just catching little mistakes in the background and fixing that right about nowish. Shazam. Okay. Come on. Oh, someone is spinning out outside. Yo, if y'all heard what I was hearing, you'd be happy that your car is parked on the other side of the building. Because, yo, it sounded bad just now. So, oh man, it's still loading. All right. There we go. Okay, took forever. Man, listen. There we go. Shazam. Okay, man. Super shout out to all of the different folks I'm following on the different platforms, as I mentioned before. Patreon, YouTube, Bop Alloy once again. And here we go. Now let's unveil where we are. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So currently we've already hit not only our $10,000 goal, but we hit our goal of $20,000, our stretch goal, which was to repress our new album. So that means, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially repressing our old album, our very first album, Substantial and Marcus D, or Bob Alloy, or as Marcus D likes to call it, SN Daba. That's how we refer to it as well. So yeah, man. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, y'all are the greatest, man. I don't know how many different ways to say it, but I need y'all to understand that, like, I definitely know the value of like the type of fans that we have. To raise this type of money with only 132 people speaks volumes about how much people believe in what we do. What's crazy is, even though we did release one of the songs over the summer, a good amount of the people contributed to this campaign without hearing any of the music. You know what I mean? And that's what's amazing, man. There's a lot of things that's amazing. But anyway, we hit the stretch goal of 20,000. And so what's dope too, so for those of you who've already put in what your orders are, if you want, you can now go edit it, only if you want, and you can add the first album as an add-on to your joint because we've officially raised enough to go ahead and copy. So you can do that now and put in an early order, or you can wait until the repressing is available for orders and is shipping, and you can do that later. But either way, it's happening. So let me give y'all a heads up, and I feel like I might have said it already on the last show or before that, but we are officially about to launch our second and last stretch goal of 30K. And for that amount, what we're going to do is we're going to manufacture we're going to finally put Winter Breaks. I definitely said this before to y'all, but we're going to finally put Winter Breaks on volume. We're going to do the Winter Breaks anthology. So I'll be updating that. I've already written up the joint. I just haven't posted it yet because I think I got a graphic I got to make. But yeah, the conversation with Marcus and I basically was that we'll press up Winter Breaks 1 and 2 for the first time. We're going to add the song from Stephanie Gale. Shout out to Steph, y'all. We're going to add the song from Stephanie Gale called Walk Into the New Year, since that, is a Winter Breaks themed joint. And then we're also, oh my God. Hey, sis, that would be amazing. Stan as Sakamoto stickers. Is that my next project? Hey, don't threaten me with a good time. That sounds amazing. Take my money. Yes. Please, yes, and thank you. But yeah, so our goal is that if we, our goal is when we hit 30K to also work on manufacturing the Winter Breaks anthology featuring both Winter Breaks 1 and 2, Stephanie Gale's Walk Into the New Year, produced by Marcus D, featuring me, and then also include 10 Winners, which was released, I think, January of 2024 from me and Marcus. So we feature all of that, and then what we discussed, we're waiting to hear back from Shuhei. That's the gentleman who designed the artwork for this, or illustrated the artwork for this, and also did the cover art for our first album. We discussed it with him to basically do custom new art for Winter Breaks anthology. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be like the sweater design, it'd be something else. So that's in the works. We don't know if the artwork thing is definitely going to be with him or not. Like, that's something he has to let us know based on his availability, because he's put in a ton of work for this current release. But that's something that's happening too. Yeah. I actually screenshot him and used him as a sticker to send to my friend on iMessage emoji. That's hilarious. Dan Bringer, sorry to hear about having to reschedule. Yeah, so I'm getting to that, Yeah. But I'm also hyped now because I'm able to come through. Looking forward to it, big dog. Man, I appreciate you. Yeah, I got a few. So we got some new information last night, which wasn't good, but it's about the event. Just know that we're not giving up, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Whew, pray for me, y'all. Pray for me. My favorite things from Sacrifice album with Steph will slap too. Yo, man, thank you, fam. All right. But yeah, so this is where we are with the Kickstarter campaign. Shout out to all of y'all. Thank y'all so much for contributing. Yeah, y'all are amazing, man. Greatest fan base anybody could ask for. All right. So since someone already brought it up, let's go ahead and get into the not so great news. And that's that I've decided to postpone the Think Different Tribute Jam. And this is due to the fact that this major snowstorm came through and hit. And has I haven't driven my car since last Saturday, right? That's definitely I know that's a long time for anyone who owns a car, but it's definitely a long time for me. And when I say I haven't, I mean my whole, none of us, right? It's so bad because the temperature hasn't dropped below freezing in almost a week, and so the stuff is it's rock solid. The ice on the car is so thick that literally when I was using the ice scraper and the brush and stuff like that, it broke to pieces. And this is not a cheap joint. I've had this thing and it's older, right? I've had it for years and it's survived several storms, including a major blizzard that we lived through years ago, and it's been fine. But when I went to go use it the other day, I was trying to clear off the car before my doctor's appointment on Wednesday, and it just literally broke to pieces, which was a blower because I'm like, how am I? And then I was like, yo, I ain't got enough time to run upstairs and get the broom and start all over. I'm just going to go ahead and call a Lyft and pray that this person who drives me there doesn't drive crazy. So, yeah, man, but it's bad. And so then what happened was I went to check the weather for next week because the band hit me up. Shout out to Lizzie. She brought it to my attention that more snow was coming through this weekend. And she was like, yo, we should consider rescheduling rehearsal, which was tough because we had two people who were performing with the band who were coming from out of town. One from Cali, one coming from Texas. And yeah, that would impact, their rehearsal time. And so it was a major inconvenience. And it was they were expecting 5 to 8 inches. So we knew driving was going to be treacherous. So when that was brought to my attention, I then went to look at the 10-day forecast. And when I looked at it, initially, at least when I saw it on weather.com, it was pointing out that there were expected snow on the day of the show. And it wasn't a ridiculous amount, but it was enough that I know people, and I've been this guy where I had every intention on going to an event, but once I saw snow in the forecast, I value my life far too much to be like, yeah, man, as much as I want to support this person and attend this thing, yeah, I'm not trying to be stuck on the road. I'm not trying to have a really crazy accident. Not even because of how I drive, but because people are stupid sometimes, man, and just really aren't thinking past the moment and how what they're doing is impacting others. And I ain't trying to put myself out there. And so when I saw that, I started talking to the band about, yo, should I reconsider having the event on that day and maybe just postpone it, especially because this is impacting our rehearsal time, which means we're not going to be as tight as we need to be, on top of the fact that we won't be safe. And that's when they were like, yo, we agree. And then so we made the decision, and sure enough, I look at the forecast again, and then it switched from Friday to Thursday, so the day before, which the other problem is too is people wait till the last minute to buy their tickets for obvious reasons. They're trying to move things around. They're trying to look at the weather. They're tracking a lot of variables and trying to make decisions on what they're going to do. The downside for a promoter is that that greatly impacts how your ticket sales go. So the event, when I first announced it, it started off really well, and like we had more ticket sales than we had the year before, right? Around the same time. Then as we got closer and closer to the event, like what I noticed was like the sales weren't continuing to go up. That was for a lot of different reasons. Number one, partly because I didn't have it in the budget this year to do as much paid promotion as I did last year. Because, it's post holidays, money's tight. So, I had to make some decisions to cut like the budget where I could. And unfortunately, that affected promo. So ticket sales were down. Then the snow hits and like ticket sales came to a screeching halt. There was like maybe 5 days and no tickets being sold. And I know that's partly because of the political climate and people's priorities. But then I also knew it was because of the weather. And then when I saw this, I knew the likelihood that if we had one snowstorm a week out, that was going to definitely make local people reconsider, and anybody who's thinking about traveling, how they were going to be impacted. So I was like, yo, maybe this is part of the reason why tickets are so slow right now in terms of sales. And then when I saw it was like the day of and then potentially the day before, I was like, oh, no, it's a wrap, because there's like a swell of sales that come at that last minute. And I already knew that we weren't going to get it. And so, rather than taking that loss, because again, as I pointed out to you, this is not an event that's thrown by another company. This is something that I come out of pocket to do. This event literally bare minimum costs $7,000 to potentially $10,000. And that's my own money. And when I say it's my own money, it means that if it doesn't happen, or not that if it doesn't happen, that if we do not, let's say if only 30 people showed up, right? If only 30 people shows up based on the type of tickets that they've bought, that's potentially $1,000, right? So that's a $6,000 to $9,000 loss for me. So it just made more sense to postpone it. So this is me being fully transparent with y'all. I'm an indie artist. I'm not working. I don't work for anyone. I work with people. And so I have no problem with letting y'all into like that side of it, just so y'all know what's on the line. So anytime you've seen Substantial Art and Music throw an event, both the ones that were successful and the ones where no one shows up, just know that if not no one, I hate when people do that. Where people barely showed up, it wasn't like a large amount of people. Know that we likely, if we did not have a sponsor, we took a loss, and that's just what comes with the business, right? But I'm okay with taking losses in these situations because I still make sure that everyone involved gets paid because their time is valuable. So it is what it is. So yeah, man. Listen, I appreciate you understanding that. So but yeah, man, it's just like just trying to be fully transparent with y'all. So now I mentioned before that some more news came in last night, which also is impacting the event. So initially, I made the announcement and it said that the new date is April 17th. I'm still doing everything I can to make sure it happens on that particular day. But unfortunately, we lost the venue. And so initially it was told to me that April 17th was available. And then, I told the person, I was like, he said that he pretty sure we could do the 17th, but the 18th, the day after, might be a problem. And that worked out anyway, because the memorial for my cousin, like during a time where the weather is going to be better, is literally on that particular date. And I just got that information about a week ago. And so I wouldn't have been able to do the brunch the following day anyway, because I had to step out of town, go pay my respects. So I was told that we were locked in and stuff like that. I got like notices saying that, we changed to the new date. Everything was everything. And then yesterday evening, I get a call around 7 p.m. saying that there's been an issue and that unfortunately was double booked. Like another staff person had already solidified, had already locked in that date for something else, and it wasn't brought to the other person's attention. So, yo, hey, no love lost to any of those folks, man. Shout out to Crescendo. Crescendo's been nothing but great to us. And so all the love in the world for them and what they do over there and what they do for the community. But it puts us in a situation. So now we don't have a physical location for the joint. There was another alternative that was offered, but it's a venue that's currently being set up. It's not done. And I didn't like that for us in terms of making an announcement saying that, hey, we're going to be at this other spot that's currently not open, but will be open by the time we do the thing, especially because of language that was used in that moment where they were like, almost certainly. I'm like, almost and certainly ain't. It's like, if it's certain, it's certain, but almost certain ain't, that means there's no guarantee. And I was just like, yo, I can't. I'll say this. Yesterday was tough. Doing all the things to pivot, sending all the information out, answering questions for the people who didn't understand why, and the people who understood, and just trying to get clarity. That was a lot. It was a lot. I haven't been able to work on music in like maybe almost 2 weeks outside of rehearsals. And that's a long time to not be creative. And yesterday was a lot. And so anything that sounds like it's going to put me in another situation like what I was dealing with yesterday, I have no interest. None. So I'm like, yo, I can't keep losing days like that, doing all the mental gymnastics and all of the admin work required to do all of that stuff. Because it's not that I don't have a team of people around me. I have people around me, but the vast majority of this stuff falls on my shoulders. So yeah, man. So just giving y'all heads up that the plan is to still have it, but it'll likely be at a different location. Not likely. It's definitely going to be at a different location. And once I get that information, I'll let y'all know. But I will say this. How I feel right now, this is likely the last one. Initially, I was going to push to make this an annual thing. But just on how hard it is, and yeah, I ain't even gonna say that. Just based on how difficult it is and how much it costs, like I don't see myself continuing to do this every year. It doesn't mean I might not bring it back like at some point in time down the road after we do this year, possibly. But try and make it an annual thing. Yeah. This is yeah, man. So it's like I just got to be realistic about the best use of my time and stuff like that. And it's I know there's a lot of people who value me and my art, but I also know that man, fuck it, I'll say it. I know that for some people, me doing it and it just being me is enough. For some fans, for a lot of y'all, that's enough. And there are other people where, yo, unless certain people are involved, if Shingo ain't involved, if Psystar ain't going to be there, if this person ain't going to be there, if this person ain't going to be there, if it doesn't actually say Nujabes in the name of the event, which is something that legally, it's not that we don't want to do it. I need y'all to understand that. It's not that we don't want to do it. It's that legally we aren't in the position to do it. That's an important point. And it's also important to acknowledge that while we celebrate the legacy, the effort that I'm putting into this is to remind folks that his legacy is not his and his alone, right? Like the most popular songs, the instrumentals became popular eventually, but the initial songs that were the most popular for him and his label were the songs that had rappers on it. Because a lot of us, not necessarily me as much, but Funky D.I. was already like very established before he worked with Nujabes. Shingo was already doing his thing before he worked with Nujabes. I had several things in the work and was making a name for myself in New York and other areas or whatever with Extended Fam before before certain things. And so, yeah, but like, again, people don't know this history. So they just feel like we only have what we have, or we only who we are connected with him. And so so part of the purpose of this event was to celebrate the legacy that I have with him as an artist, hence the name, the Think Different Tribute Jam. Because it's not just a celebration of his music, it's a celebration of our music together in the region where I'm from, because this region is a part of that history. So that was the goal. That was the dream. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think with what I'm currently dealing with right now and how it's impacting my creative process, right? And the work I got to do for other people, the work I got to do for other people, how it's hindering my creative process and stuff like that in terms of other deadlines I got to meet. Yeah, like we going to finish this one up, make it amazing, and then be like, yeah, if we bring it back, we bring it back. But if not, hey, it was fun while it lasted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So let's get to some of these comments. Hold on. Well, I tell you how hurt I am for both my concerts being canceled this month. Man, I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. I know you were traveling. You are one of several fans that were traveling from out of town, and I appreciate y'all for being willing to do that. But definitely disappointed, man, that like it's not going as planned. Yeah, that snow was annoying. My back was hurting shoveling all the snow. I'm getting old. Yeah, man, shout out to Black Root. Cause we were talking about like shoveling snow and different things, precautions to take when you're doing it, making sure you're shoveling a particular way, so that way, you're using as much of your core as possible and putting less strain on your back. So that's one. But also, man, and this is something I still need to look into. So let me know if you've heard it. I'm not giving this as advice. I'm just saying something I learned from him, which I still have to investigate for myself. But he was talking about how one of the things that you can do when you do it is to wear a mask that makes it so that the air that you're breathing in, it warms up that mask basically makes and all of you know this from the period of times we rock masks, where the moisture and the heat that's building up in that mask can sometimes warm up your breath as you're breathing in, which makes the air that you're breathing in less cold, adds a little bit more moisture to the air, makes it a bit warmer, and how that impacts your blood, your breathing, and how you feel overall. Because there are people who literally die while shoveling snow. So this was an interesting conversation we had yesterday, and it's something I still got to look into as well. But yeah, man, definitely. I know as someone who's dealt with asthma that I definitely have, when I would play sports, I had a harder time in the winter or in the fall, like the colder months, than I did playing in the spring and summer. And that was because of how thin the air was and how that impacted my breathing and how I felt overall. All right. So would it make more sense to refund the VIP breakfast and order the other ticket available? Yeah, that's fine. And I'm just being real with you right now. Like, I would say, man, I've set it up where y'all can process your refunds yourself. I could just go ahead and do it all for everybody, but I'm trying to wait a week to see where we end up, right? And if I'm gonna be able to keep that date or it needs to be another date. It's a lot of mental gymnastics happening at the moment, and a lot of conversations being had. So I would say what you could do in the meantime is, I set it up so that you can refund the VIP joint and then switch it to the general ticket or the $50 VIP if you want the poster and still want early access and meet and greet before the show. So you can do that now if you want, or you can refund it completely and just kind of wait it out and see what we do. All right. You like breaking even financial? Yeah, already addressed that. The more I learn about music business from these streams, the more complicated it all seems. It's crazy. It's one of the things I pointed out to my students I was like, yo, part of understanding the music business is also understanding organized crime. And I know that sounds like a crazy analogy, but it's because of the fact that organized crime, like, the way the music industry has worked, whether we're talking about payola or a long list of other like predatory practices in the music business, organized crime has been connected to the origin of the music industry. And so there are a lot of practices that are perfectly acceptable in the music industry where in any other industry it would absolutely be illegal. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, it's just wild. Like, yeah. Anyway, it's like I don't even know if I like just energy wise if I have the energy to kind of give examples right now of it. But yeah, it's really a dirty business, man. And oftentimes the people who like I do the best business with oftentimes are people who are coming in this like fairly early and they don't know how like, they don't know how like people in the past have like operated in this business. And so they're just operating it in a way that makes more sense in terms of like their humanity, right? And so they are not as exploitative as other folks, or not as predatory as other folks. And that's oftentimes they got other work and they got other means that like, yo, if this thing doesn't work out super well for them, they're okay. But a lot of people in this business are not in that position, right? And so, of course, you're going to do everything you can to protect your money or protect your investments and all the things. And that makes perfect sense. But oftentimes it's, yeah, man, you're expected. Like, I had to ask someone for something today. And the amount of money, like we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, like in this formal this quote that I gave, right? And it sounds like a crazy amount of money. It really does on the surface. It sounds crazy to ask someone outright for that type of money for a job, which is potentially a one-off. But of course, it sounds like a lot of money when you don't know all the things. But when you know all the things, right? When you realize that, one, you're giving up ownership of the thing. Two, you're bare minimum going to have to pay 3 different people to assist you with the process of creating this thing. All of which, bare minimum, are getting a 4-digit number, like financially for contributing, right? Each of them, right? Like each of them. And it's going to be at least 3 people assisting you with this thing. Then you also consider that, like, what is that? I'm pretty sure I already said you give up ownership. You also are giving up future royalties of this thing, right? There's the time it takes to create the thing, right? There's the fact that they're not only going to use the thing in one format, but they're going to potentially use it in others as well as marketing the thing. And then it keeps going. And so when you consider all the things, it sounds like a lot of money in that moment. But that one thing, that one song, right? That one song that you're selling off to receive nothing else going forward could potentially make next to nothing, right? That's one side of it. But then it could make tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. The one song. It sounds insane. It sounds insane until it happens, because it's important to recognize that there's a small percentage of music in the world where that actually happens. So as an artist, you got to consider that every time you're in a similar situation. Like, you got to consider what this thing is going to potentially do long term, and the fact that you're going to, based on the deal they are looking to do, that they're asking you to give that up in perpetuity. Right? So now, even the amount I'm talking about is still like, it's a fraction of what I make in a year. You know what I mean? But it's still a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. So like, but I just have to be realistic. And so it sounds crazy. Like, you sound like you're trying to take advantage of them when you say it, but it's not that. It's like, yo, you are considering the long-term impact that song could potentially have. And I ain't even got to look far to see an example of it, because I've got songs in my catalog that by themselves have made me, not even the other people who contributed to it, because it made them money too, but just my cut of the song made me over 40 grand. You know what I mean? And it did those type of numbers, not even in a 5-year span. Not even in a 5-year span we're talking about. So yeah, like, these are real things that people have to consider. This business does not work like the traditional business model. And so, like, if you don't know it, man, and you're just walking into this blind, you don't realize how much money you're leaving on the table. You don't realize how much people take advantage. And sometimes they're not even aiming to take advantage of you. It's just like they don't understand that it can. And this ain't most people. I don't know how many people it is, but there's a percentage of people in this business who don't always fully understand how much this thing can potentially, generate. And that's because, a lot of us are kind of in our particular lane, and we're just looking at these things. These are the things we need to consider and focus on, and that's all that's important, And so yeah, it's hard to see the big picture when you're in that particular situation. Anyway, peace and love, Stan. Can't wait for your new project with Marcus. Thank you, family. I appreciate that. Totally understandable, bro. Makes sense. Won't be the same if you're not your best you, man. Thank you for that, and that's super real. Sadly, those aren't real fans. Referring back to, yeah, man. I mean, and that's, they're real fans of Nugent Best, but not necessarily real fans of me, and that's cool. Hey, look, that's cool. I can think of a ton of collaborators on projects from some of my favorite artists where I like those people, but not enough where I'm like, yo, let me go hear more of their stuff. But yo, the amount of times I always got to remind people who reach out to me because they are fans of the stuff I did with Nugent Best. I'm like, man, look, if you really like that stuff, yeah, I'm trying to tell you, man, over in this other catalog, the rest of this catalog, there's some gems. There's some great records, like really, really great. And there's a lot to listen to. So you can potentially find things that are way better than that. It's never going to give you the same nostalgia, right, that you get from the other thing. I'm well aware of that. But because of how many different subjects I've covered, the different vibes and stuff like that, you could potentially, there's a lot of potential to find things that you love far more than that, if you're open to that. And a lot of people, unfortunately, aren't. You know what I mean? And a lot of people aren't really aware of how marketing and the status of something makes you more susceptible to liking or loving it, right? If it fits the overall vibe or aesthetic that you dig. And so I know that a large amount of the reason why people don't check for everything I do is because some of that stuff isn't marketed to them the same way as the Nugent Best stuff is, right? And there's people who will talk about it. I see it in the comments all the time that will basically say like, oh man, he's so underrated, right? Like it's sad more people don't know about him, right? Not realizing that, fam, the reason why so many people know about him isn't just because of the amount of marketing the company that shares rights with Hideout, isn't just because of what they've done. It's also because of the amount of free promotion that came after his death, right? Like now, because more people are starting to become aware, now as a company, you creating content about his legacy is financially beneficial to you, right? And like that's for a large amount of content creators, and also like not just the people who work with him like me, but content creators, show promoters who would rather me do a tribute event than just do my general show, which is crazy because I always pay tribute. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, it's who I got my start with. I'm always going to pay tribute to him. That's a given. I had to say this at a show. I was like, yo, shout out to those of you who show up. But when you talk to your folks who were like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, he probably's not going to, like, you making an assumption that I'm not going to do these songs when I always do the songs. And it was wild, man. I went to Japan to do a show one time, and one fan actually complained to me because I spent so much time doing the songs I did with Nujabes for his projects that I didn't even realize I didn't do any of the joints from my first album. And I was in Japan where my first album sold the most copies. And they were like, yo, man, I was actually disappointed you didn't do anything from To This Union. I'm like, damn. But that's my fault, because in that moment, I'm spending so much time trying to cater to this audience, right? Because this is like, because when I'm in the States or when I go to certain countries, that's what's expected. You know what I mean? So like, and as an artist, once you get to a certain level, you're expected to play the hits, right? And those are the equivalent of my hits. And so, but then I go to a country where my career first took off. And like, what's wild is one of my most popular songs with Hideout isn't a song that Nujabes produced. It's a song that Monaristic produced. Home Sweet Home is the most popular song I did with them in the early years. And so I didn't even put that in my set in Japan, which is crazy especially how popular that record is. But this is what I'm saying, like how the story's been framed, where we are and stuff like that, how it's impacting the artists that work with them, like what opportunities we get because of it, but then also like opportunities that we don't get because people are more interested in the artist who's no longer with us than the artists who are still here, literally honoring his legacy, not just by performing those songs, but still making the music that made him a fan to begin with. You know what I mean? He wasn't a fan of us because we made songs over his joint. He was a fan of us because he heard other things we were making that he didn't produce. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it's interesting, you know what I mean, to say the least, man. Shout out to Steph, man, who stepped in yesterday to address a fan who I'm talking about something completely different, but they were only there because they wanted to know about Nujabes. As but I'm there talking about a show that's being postponed. And they were like, they didn't actually say this, but how it felt is, yeah, fuck what you talking about. I got this question about Nujabes. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, okay. And so people just kind of are oblivious sometimes, man, and are so kind of in their own head and what they're concerned with, that they don't even realize what you're talking about in the moment. But I think we're all guilty of that in certain moments. Metal Fan says, all good. I'll keep the ticket and just refund the hotel then. Yeah, and you should have received some type of notice from the hotel already, because we already talked to them and they agreed to cancel the rooms on the block and stuff like that. So, but definitely let me know if you run into any challenges with that, and we'll help the best of our ability. Leo says, the game is all about crisis management and damage control, but we love it. Right, 1,000%. Oh, by the way, y'all, man, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Leo as well. Leo is a former student of mine, from Omega Studios out in Rockville, Maryland. So, yeah, man, amazing artist as well, very talented. More importantly, a good human being, man, good people. Speaking of good people and great human beings, shout out to my man Early Bird. Let us know how to support, and we will. We got your back, Stan. Man, I got you too, bro. I love you, bro. Thank you, man. Happy Mochi says, share his music, share his social posts, like the videos, all create connections or partnership opportunities, introduce him to venue owners, business partners who want to contribute to his work. Sis, I love and appreciate you. Thank you. Word of mouth is still a very powerful tool of support. Talking about your favorite artists to people in your circles and sharing their work is important and helpful. 1,000%. 1,000%. Thank you, sis. Don't blame you. I don't blame you for the cancellation, fam. The weather caught the whole East Coast by surprise as well. Yeah, for sure. I think Kiss said it best. Dead rappers get a better promotion. Yeah, man. Too real. A good amount of, yeah, I would just agree. Yes. Chile Art says that's true, and I feel like Samurai Champ Blue was the perfect advertising for his sound, considering the intro and the soundtrack. Yeah, 1,000%. Like that absolutely catapulted his career, right? And yeah, man, and dude, and to this day, I'm still so proud of that moment, because this is something that, like, yo, like I remember telling people when I was making demos in my mom's crib back in the day, and I first got into anime. I remember being like, yo, it'd be so dope, man, if we could have hip hop or rap music in like anime. And my boy was like, yo, I never even, like, yeah, bro. Like, imagine if that was a thing someday. And then when he did it, I'm like, yo, I hit him up, bro. Got my little phone card from the bodega. Called him up and was like, hey, dude, congratulations, man. And the beats were fire. I remember saying, joking with him and literally saying to Nujabes, I was like, yo, where were these beats when we were working on the album? You know? And he laughed and stuff, man. But dude, that moment was huge for him. It absolutely catapulted him, made more people in the States start to know who he was. Because for a good amount of people, when I was trying to push my album here in the United States, they barely knew who I was, and certain people knew who I was because I was making some waves already. But like they didn't know who produced it. They didn't know who Nujabes was. They had never heard of Hideout. It was a small amount of people. And so, but when the anime dropped, you know, and it's important to remember too, Samurai Champ Blue, even though it's a classic joint, isn't as popular as a lot of other stuff out there. So it's really one of those, if you know, you know. And so watching what that did for him, and then how, again, more elements, that combination of the anime with the music, how that leads to like the lo-fi sound starting to kind of starting to become a thing. And just like, man, it was the perfect storm. It was a perfect storm. And it's unfortunate he didn't live to see like how big this stuff will become. But one could argue that if he did, would he have been as big as he is, right? And the answer is likely no, just based on what history has shown us. You know, because things definitely after the show kind of like was done, you know, there were people who were catching on late, but it was like this slow burn. And I've told this story before too, and how no one had ever asked me to do Blessing It or any of the stuff from my early works. When I was doing shows, I was mostly just doing the new songs because outside of Japan, no one really knew the older stuff, right? And so it wasn't until like 2007, like 5 years after Blessing It came out, that I did a set, and someone came up to me and was like, yo, why didn't you do Blessing It? And I'm like, word, you know what that song is? Because I've been touring for a while, fam, and no one's ever asked me to do Blessing It. So that was a shock to me. And then after that, like I still went another 3 years before I did it live. And that wasn't until the tribute show when he passed, right after he passed. And so yeah, man, it's crazy how it works, but it's business, you know. Cult classic anime. So when people look into it, they go, wait up, who made this track? Word. Always love Champ Blue, because without it, I may have never found Nujabes and then never found Sub, Sice, Pace, etc. Yeah, 1,000%. R.I.P. DJ Dextreme, man. Yeah, man. My dude, man. I love that guy, man. He was hilarious. Really cool guy, man. I learned about you from Nujabes, but I became a fan of you, and I appreciate that. Thank you, family. I always tell people my favorite rapper is Substantial. Yo, thank you. It means a lot. I don't take that lightly. I think y'all have earned, you know, some music. You know what I mean? Give y'all some music before I get out of here. But shout out to you navigating through all of that. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's life does not come without challenges, right? It's what comes with living. So like you know, certain things can be harder than others to process, and other things are light in comparison to other real world situations I've had to deal with. So through it all, I try to lead with gratitude. And I think I do a pretty good job of not airing my complaints, which might not always seem valid. I try to do a good job of not just running, getting on the internet with Twitter fingers or whatever and bitching and moaning about things that I know are blessings, are mostly blessings. But yeah, like it can be challenging dealing with some of the other stuff. That's why people got to give people flowers while they still can smell them. Yeah, 1,000%, man. I can honestly say that Shingo is a part of my cartoon childhood along with Steve Blum. Hey, shout out to both of them. I met Steve. He's super cool, and Shingo's the homie. And that's because of Nujabes. Real talk. Yeah, we stay blessing it. Yes, some music, please. Yes, I got you. All right, so let's plug these other events, and then we'll get into some tunes. All right. So quick reminders, getting ready to tour Europe in a couple months. We are less than 2 months away, actually. So March 21st, you can catch me in Lisbon, Portugal, performing at Village Underground. All right. That's March 21st. Tickets are available now. March 22nd, you can catch me in Madrid, Spain, at Sala Villanos, I think is how you say it. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. Lord's still working on me. And then March 29th, you can catch me in Paris performing. All this whole tour is with Marcus D. We have at least 2 shows that we are still trying to negotiate something. So hopefully we have more dates sooner than later. I'm figuring sometime in February, those will be live, God willing. But keep an eye out for that. In May, you can catch me back in the United States performing in Atlanta at MomoCon 2026 with the homie Alan Z, Aztec, Megaran, Stolen Drums, and Zed Tabani. It's going to be a dope show. It's called From Adult Swim to Lo-Fi. It's going to be dope. Yeah, man, and make sure you follow Substantial Art and Music on Bandcamp so you can check out artists like Millen and Javier Starks, who I manage, as well as some more Bob Alloy and Sub Stizzle. Let's see what tunes we got over here. Hold on. I know last week we played some Bob Alloy stuff. I didn't put a goal up for today. And I haven't even told y'all can. Oh, hold on. Somebody just supported the campaign. Man, I greatly appreciate that. Hold up. Let's see. Shout out to Michael Coleman for supporting the campaign, man, at the expert pack level. Cop the t-shirt, the hat, liner note shout out. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, Mike. Thank you, man. Longtime supporter right there. Oh, hold on. Another comment. Oh, also meant to say it was dope to hear you on tracks they've been playing at Evo. Yo, thank you, man. Shout out to Zed Tabani, who I just shouted out. He's the brother that brought me in on that. And shout out to Mason Lieberman, who helped me get my start doing video game music in general, man. The Third Strike song was super fun to do. Absolutely. All right. Let's see what we gonna play. I'm gonna find some tunes for y'all real quick. Okay. All right. That's already out. I think I played that already. Yep, played that too. Trying to find stuff y'all haven't heard. Make it interesting. Man, that's a good one. Okay, yeah, man. Shout out to the homie J Soul. We'll play this joint. He said anything jazzy. I'll do this. I'll play at least 2 to 3 joints for y'all. We're gonna start with something that's not so jazzy. This one is just like some straight, like gritty, like boom bap stuff. It's a collab, and I probably played it on the show before, but J Soul has been popping up. Clap it up for J Soul in recent episodes. And this is a new song he's working on with Wordsworth. For those who do not know who Wordsworth is one of the greatest lyricists ever. This dude's pen is crazy. An immaculate writer, one of the best to do it. And somebody I was listening to since like late 90s. And he's still very dope and still active, man. So anyway, wow, someone just Invisible Man 2, man. I ain't heard someone bring that up in a minute. If you know, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna play this new joint that we're working on. The song's called Holy Ghost. It's by J Soul. I'm pretty sure I played this a while ago on the show, but for those who missed it, we're gonna hear this joint. If you're hyping him up, he must be fired. Hey fam, I'm not hyping him up as much as I could. Like, this dude left him so shook, you could walk a half a block and feel the aftershock. Like, this dude, these are old lines, okay? Like, yeah, he's crazy. But this is a song we did together called Holy Ghost, produced by J Soul. All right, here we go. Let me make sure that is working. All right, let me know if y'all can hear this. All right, give me a thumbs up in the chat if that's coming through good for y'all. Shout out to J Soul. Shout out to Wordsworth.
Bon appetit, rose, apple, peach, salad bowl. Where I sat to eat, clothes half the beach, home lacking sleep. Riding on the road half the week, then flown, throw back my seat, roam back to Greece, handle business through a text. Don't have to meet, actions louder than words, so I don't have to speak. Pro rapidly, any zone, known rapping beast. At a show, rose pack we deep, hold half the seats, tatted entourage.
Let me know if that audio coming through for y'all.
Time passed since the last line, only one left. Confess of things that I did, I was young, yes. Never was a bum dress, baggy clothes, one X. Upset, folks who came close to the success. It's not about the money that you gross, it's the month net. About my son today from my ex received drunk text, saying that he's not mine. Thinking about a blood test, took time to read the signs of who I would become next. People around me saw my symbols, then a drum set. It's backwards, suddenly the blessed have become hex. Inflation, people paying more, but you get less. Met before sunset, her body from the sun sweat. Undressed from a sundress on the sun deck. Life or death, one heartbeat, only one breath left to tell us who's the best. One guess.
Every time we speak is real. Learn from what experience teaches. Shining spaces when time is just a glare. Trying to be cool and patient. Every time we speak is real. Learn from what experience teaches.
Yeah.
Spaces when time is just a glare.
Substantial.
Trying to be cool and patient.
Cruising down the Autobahn, living on bar time, sing the same song, but claim they don't bar lines. Contract killer, red dot up on the dotted line. Aim to stay free of any bandit that would target mine. They say it's lonely at the top, well at the bottom crying. I get to reach my peak, but still increase my bottom line. I get to see a tweet that really reach confounded minds. When you see me in the streets, I'm bound by the divine. When you hear me on these beats, it's the gospel. Ain't talking about a genre, I'm a hip-hop apostle. This ain't sacrilege of rap for kids, it's a better strain. Healing while they wait for dads they never knew that never came. Healing from the drama, mama can't escape but never blamed her once. They hit me on the horn for heat, I made them wait for months. They hit them with substantial words, it's worth the wait. A perfect plate, my simmer for these inner thoughts can percolate. Out here killing time, adding minutes to the murder rate. I don't want no smoke, I dodge the bob and let it circulate. Typing in the clouds where my ink used to permeate. Always on my J.O., so don't wait up, I'll be working late.
Every time we speak is real. Learn from what experience teaches. Shining spaces when time is just a glare. Trying to be cool and patient. Weakness. Every time we speak is real. Learn from what experience teaches. Shining spaces when time is just a glare. Trying to be cool and patient. 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 Trying to be cool and patient.
Yeah, man. Yo, shout out to Wordsworth. Shout out to J Soul, man. Had fun doing that joint. Can we drop the song name again? Got a playlist for this. Yeah, so that song is called Holy Ghost. It is not out yet. It comes out later this year. So I'll definitely circle back and let y'all know. Hey, what up, Jamin? You know what I'm saying? We got Pratt Institute 3 deep in here right now. You know what I'm saying? We got some Pratt alum in the business. In the building, pardon me, my man Jamin, my man Early Bird up in here right now. You know. But yeah, man. Yeah, so the song's called Holy Ghost. It's by J Soul and Wordsworth. You can actually check out a whole EP that they did before, which is super dope. Matter of fact, hey man, that's what we gonna do real quick. Fun fact for y'all. I have directed a music video a while ago. I've co-directed a few music videos and stuff. And one of the videos that I co-directed was one by J Soul and Wordsworth. So we gonna play a couple joints to get out of here, and then maybe before we go, I will hit y'all with a Bob Alloy joint too. So J Soul, Wordsworth. Rest in peace to my Uncle George, man, who let us use the house to film in. Yep, here we go. It's crazy. I know there was another link with the video, but yeah, this joint I'm gonna put up on the screen was directed by me and yeah, hold up. Let's do this. Yeah, it's crazy. Memory lane. All right. Sharing screen. Hold up. Let's do that. Go gadget. All right. Yes, that's up there. Let's plug this up here. All right. I'm sorry, y'all, seeing all the video analytics and all that stuff. All right. So this song's called "What You Gonna Do." You might have heard this beat before too, because J Soul did a remix of one of my joints using this beat originally before he passed it to Wordsworth. But here we go. "What You Gonna Do" by Wordsworth and J Soul. All right.
Ain't got a nickel. Made every number on the thing, man. Ain't got a penny, doesn't it?
Raised in the hood where it's rats and the rent's low. Cops ask questions, but we never give up info. And even though you saw everything from your window, mom on crack and she sold your Nintendo. Things are getting crazy here. Grandma sitting in a lazy chair, smoking cigarettes and drinking crazy beers. And she been doing that for 80 years, still healthy. And the family photo album got your baby here. Bastards turn killers, Sippin' Miller. Dutch masters, cigarillas and vanilla. Marijuana crumbles, homeless man mumbles. Little brother watching wrestling, Royal Rumble. Chillin', letting time pass, hustling to find cash. In the hood, a red plastic cup is like a wine glass. You got nothing to do if online crash. Wifey on a period, kids playing Minecraft. Fixing hoopties with a whole lot of mileage. And everybody talking about going back to college. Checking classes and the credits they have. To get a credit card's hard cause your credit is bad. Won't buy food because of what's red on the bag, but buy sneakers no matter what's red on the tag. Having everything new. Walgreens giving free shots for the flu. We grew. What you gonna do on the grind when your pockets get low and you hustling fast when the time goes slow? And the friends that you know from day one turn four, getting old, seeing everybody grow. What you gonna do, homie? I don't know. What you gonna do, sister? I don't know. What you gonna do, shorty? I don't know. What you gonna do, mister? I don't know. Check the garage, you see everybody call me. Check the kitchen, just a can full of sardines. The industry went to skinny pants from large jeans. Earth tones to neon bright from camouflage green. The city seems so normal when it's violent. I get worried sometimes at night when it's silent. Marianne messing with a married man. Harry, Sam, Gary, Indiana. Then he ran away to Maryland. His wife Carrie and her brother Larry planned to kill them both. Out of town, cops found them by the coast of caravans. All those years in the school for a diploma. At the job mad cause the printer out of toner. Mom kicked her out and the family disowned her. Pit bulls so big that the dogs walk the owners. Come visit in the day when the lights up. Got an air mattress and the roaches don't bite much. Mold on the wall and the ceiling adds a nice touch. Holes in the furniture, I love it, but life sucks. It's just you, lost everybody in your crew. In the church now praying at the pew. What you gonna do? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yo, shout out, super shout out to the homie Wordsworth. Shout out to the homie J Soul as well. Love that joint, man. I think what I'm gonna do right now is play another one for y'all, but this one, since we talking about J Soul, this is more on the chill / jazzy side. I know a lot of y'all might not have heard this, but me and J Soul got a few collabs together, and one we actually shot like this video that like feels super retro. But if you've never seen this before, let's get this going for your listening pleasure. You know what I mean? And like I said, if time permits, I would try to slide a Bop Alloy joint in there. As long as, cause we got like 10 minutes before I hit the 2-hour mark, to benefit from the good old splicing up of the video. So, let's get this up on the screen real quick and we'll rock out another joint. But I hope y'all dug that joint. All right, let's see. All right, this joint's called Get On Down. It's me and the homie J Soul. All right, get these rare tracks in the mix. Hold up.
J Soul, Be More, Brooklyn, PG, Fairfax, East Coast, West Coast, Be More, Brooklyn, PG, Fairfax. Globetrotter MC, dribble verses with ease. Jay hit me with the oop and I flew from top of the key. Unlocking these gems and give them something to treasure. Ladies sitting on speakers, the beat be giving them pleasure. Both got plenty bottom, you know that's never a problem. All that heavy lifting, it's only right that I spot them. All that lousy spitting, it's only right that we stop them. Crop them out of the picture, my ninja, we Photoshop them. Stay on my Adobe with more flavor than Adobo. Ripple stages than Kobe, cause the stage it be my dojo. I am deadly with mics, quite selective with fights. Say whatever I like, but don't say whatever for likes. Retweet shares, I just beat these snares with deep speak compared to the speech impaired. He speaks so clear and he lives so righteous. Yes, they got inch away from choking a jerk lifeless. Got me got ISIS, she cooler than ISIS. Never worry where my eyes is, but know where our hearts are. So the other guys is hardy, ha. Last joint, now the XB like boxcar. Shorty getting her Zion, I'm busy getting my rhyme on. Sky's the limit, I shine on this if my name was Orion. I don't be rocking diamond, no got someone to drop dime on. Teach the youth and make substantial music is what I'm on.
Say something to the camera.
What?
What? We can do that.
Midwest, down south, Beatmore, Brooklyn, PG, Fairfax, Marcus D, Godzilla, other guys, Dubai, worldwide.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the homie J Soul, man. Hope y'all enjoyed that joint. All right. So before we get out of here, as promised, I'm gonna play one more joint for y'all. Play something from the album. Shout out to those of y'all still sticking around and stuff like that. For those who've been able to make it to the end, I have a little something for you. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna let y'all hear this joint from the Bop Alloy joint. I know I played a rough of it a while ago on the show, but this track right here is the opening track from the album. It's called Masterclass. All right. Shout out again to those of you who have supported the Kickstarter campaign already. We are currently sitting at 133 backers and have raised over $21,000 because of y'all with 18 days to go. So we still got time left. If any of you still want to pre-order the new album, you can do that. Hopefully this will be a little motivation for you. All right. Here we go. The song again is called Masterclass from the new Bop Alloy. Hold up. Let me fix something real quick. All right, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up in the chat once you hear the audio.
Substantial and Marcus D, masters of the artistry. Bop Alloy, album 3. Let's see, yeah. I am here to teach, I am here to learn. Whether you subscribe to what I speak or you're here to churn. Never want to fight to try to keep what I didn't earn. Same I always been, yet I keep growing in return. God's still blessing me, years after blessing. Not one for brevity, but folks long for excellence. Am I wrong for peddling an alternative medicine? Messing with their profits for stopping the death they selling us. Never been a portrait of perfection, I'm a work in progress. I ain't mastered nothing, I just found a better process. I guess there's beauty in discovery. Had to learn to love myself before they ever fuck with me. It must, the curse was for the hard of hearing. Don't mind me, I just stay in my lane like auto steering. I think of all the problems of the day and I'm almost tearing up. We ain't safe on home base and they hope we giving up. But can you be a master when there's more to learn? To gain the world, some would add to the pain. That's when we spring into action, but some would rather complain. When it's all said and done, we're among the last who remain. Pray our children see the sun come after the rain. I've worked to master the rage before I master the stage. And now I beat them with words as if I mastered the bait. Ain't fishing for friction, ain't going after the bait. Just sharing this food and wisdom while adding on to our plate. Ain't gracing them with my presence, I'm being present with grace. Living life to the fullest while staring death in the face. With every stand that you make and every step that you take, the people are bound by love, which makes us harder to break. They're waving pie in the sky like come get you a slice. Got them risking it all, the hype left them enticed. A small sacrifice to get you a better life. Some of us hot as ever, but never begged them for ice. Some of us wonder whether this freedom is worth the price. Claiming we didn't earn it, our people pay for it twice. And these wages won't suffice, it's like we're volunteering. 3 jobs ain't enough for 1 life. Profiteering's all I'm hearing. I think of all this pain and I'm almost tearing up. The struggle's never ending, but we never giving up. You can't be a master if you never learn. Can you be a master when there's more to learn? You can't be a master if you never learn. Where's your value if you stole what you claim you earned? History repeats, but we never learn. There's more to learn.
Yeah, man. Thank you, family. Glad y'all enjoyed it, man. But yeah, man, that's our show for today. You know what I mean? I'm get ready to head out of here. You know, I appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to those of you who helped us reach over 13,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? Doing our little engine that could over here. And I just appreciate the constant support. Y'all showing up for me like time and time again. You know, look, as I talk about constant support, man, thank you, family. I really appreciate that, man. But thank y'all, man, for believing in the music that I'm making. Thanks for the words of encouragement, the words of support and stuff. And yeah, man, this year got a lot in store. Got a lot in store for y'all. So stay tuned for more. On that note, I'm out of here. It's time for my youngest daughter's favorite part of the show. Who made it to the end? You made it to the end. Peace, y'all. Be good. Who made it to the end? Who made it to the end? You made it to the end. Who made it to the end? Who made it to the end? You made it to the end. Yo, 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 yo. Who made it to the end? You made it to the end. Who made it to the end? You made it to the end. Who made it to the end? You made it to the end. Yo, 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 yo. Subscribe, like, do whatever you like. Stay subscribed, like, do whatever you like. That's right.